Oh. Welcome everyone to another edition of Deconversion Stories. Sorry about the little hiccup there. I accidentally, my big fat finger hit the stop button and start button all over again, and so you kind of got to hear the little bit of the intro twice there. But anyways, so today I had an issue. I had someone scheduled for today, a friend of mine and a friend of Jenna, who's been on my show. You guys know, Justin was supposed to join, but unfortunately, he had. I guess kind of forgotten about it, which is why I always encourage people to use this calendar of some kind. But anyways, it's his son's birthday, and it would have been smack dab in the middle of the big dinner thing. So I'm like, you know what, dude, we can reschedule. Don't even worry about it. I'll find someone to jump in. And then this amazing lady right over here, Kitty, rescued me. So she's my hero for today, and also my guest for today. Hi, Kitty. Welcome to the show. I know we've been talking about having you on for a little while, and then you know, life shit happens, and I'm like, crap, I forgot. So you're the first person I thought of to ask. So,
oh well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, basically, what I do here is I speak to people about how they found their way out of a religious belief. You know, all the ups and downs and stuff like that. And I know you claim that yours is kind of boring, but it's okay. We'll make it fun. It's always good. It's always good to make it fun. But what I ask is generally people take us back to when they were involved in that belief system and kind of noticing the dominoes as they start to fall and how they found their way out. So I'll leave it to you. You can take us back on that story, and I'll jump in with something silly to say every now and again, as you probably have seen before.
Fine by me. I mean, I'm all about having fun and connecting with people. Like, honestly, like little mini little thing here. I love the internet and how interconnected we are. Like, honestly, most of us would have gone insane during this pandemic if we didn't have the communities online that we have. So I'm just here to have fun and help out an online friend that needed them. So, you know, again, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Pardon the mess of fabrics and everything behind me. But okay.
Masks, guys, for the pandemic. So if you're interested, there are links below, by the way, for Kitty. And one of those links is a Cash App where you can help support her in making the masks so that all of us are safe. Okay.
Yeah, I've been doing it since the start of the pandemic, and I have been donating them. I don't charge for the masks that I make, and there are people in the community that I have sent masks to, and then I get them circulating more locally in my community as well. Cool. In fact, I've got masks on 3 continents now that I've made. So, you know, yay me. I'm proud of that fact.
Can you do like special requests?
I am limited by some of the things that I can do. I know Godless Engineer actually last night showed his new Brocephus mask, and that one had stars and stripes on it. And I actually cut all of those stars and stripes out by hand.
Right. It's a little guy running around in the background. Just give her a sec here, guys. It's tough when you got kids. I don't have any, at least none that I know of anyways. No one's come knocking on my door so far. Are you my dad?
Sorry about that. Okay.
Right.
Anyways, yeah, so as I was saying, I cut out the stars and stripes by hand out of an iron-on vinyl. So if it's things like that I can get the colors of the vinyl, if I can source them, then I can do like little details by hand. Like I also made one with KC's logo and GE's logo. Yeah, so but if I can get the fabric like already printed with something, then I can make pretty much anything that's got sorry.
Someone is not happy.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. My son's on the autism spectrum, and he doesn't understand like the size of the problem and that you can't always have your own way. Like he wants to have all the lights in the house on, and he's not happy that he was told, no, you can't have all the lights on right now.
Aw.
But his dad's got him, so it will be okay. I can focus on this. I am so sorry.
I agree, P.
All right. So as far as my history in religion, my parents were both Catholic, and when they were married, once.
You can't expect much for someone that rescued me at last minute, guys. So we're gonna.
I am so sorry. I feel so bad. Usually he doesn't have these kinds of meltdowns. Like they're rare, but I feel really bad.
I just say throw chocolate ice cream at them, and
Yeah, no, he's really picky about what foods he'll eat. So I am trying the whole bribery thing of I'll get him something after the stream, but this is literally he's just not getting his own way and he's having a meltdown because of it. And unfortunately, when it's like this, you just kind of have to wait it out, like there's not really much that I can do, but I am so sorry.
It's okay. Kids are kids.
Yeah. Okay. So my parents were Catholic, and when they got married, the priest that married them made them promise to raise and confirm all their kids Catholic. The whole every sperm is sacred. You need to raise up, a bunch of Catholic babies in the church kind of thing. Right. So from an early age, I was Catholic. We went to mass. I mean, they weren't very evangelical in it. They were pretty laid back Catholics. We didn't go every Sunday, but most Sundays we went, to the holiday services and everything like that. So they weren't fanatical in their religiosity. But when I was going through confirmation classes, I was probably around, I don't know, I think they started me in classes when I was around 10 or 11. And then I made my confirmation, I think it was 13, because it was a Sunday school thing that I had to do. And then there were the CCD classes. And during the Sunday school thing, I actually started reading the Bible, and I read it cover to cover, and I didn't like what I found. So I was okay, yeah, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a Catholic. I don't really want to be a Christian. Not with this here, because I'm even as an 11-year-old kid, I could see inconsistencies. I could see atrocities, things that I did not believe in. And
mind you, I was Jewish, so I was always questioning the Old Testament stuff, right? So, and he was a bigger dick in that book.
Yeah, he really was. It's like having a kid mellowed him out a little bit, but no. So I wasn't an atheist at this point. That didn't come till many years later. But I realized
more agnostic-y kind of.
No, I actually went to a different religion. I did a bit of soul searching, for lack of a better word. And my mother did not approve. She forced me to go through confirmation, so I'm still counted as one of the heads in the roster of the Catholic Church.
You're still saved, even if we're all wrong about this here. Then you're still saved.
Yeah, well, they still get to use my name for their political influence, and I hate that because they won't excommunicate me. Yay. But so I was forced to go through that, and it actually did cause a lot of strife with my mother because I had already chosen a different religion by the time I was supposed to finish confirmation classes and actually go through confirmation. Right. I almost became a Buddhist, actually. My neighbor was a very good friend of mine, and she was the mother of one of my dear friends, and she introduced me to Buddhism. And I really liked that it was focus on your own shit. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Just focus on your own shit. And I appreciated that. So I almost did that. But then as I was looking and researching different religions, I found neo-paganism and Wicca in particular.
Me too.
my angsty little teenage heart, liked the reverence for nature, the do what you will, harm none, and the fact that there was female empowerment of, it was the goddess that came first, and she created the universe. And so I settled into Wicca. My dad actually bought me books on it. He's a deist. Like, he was raised Catholic, but he's more of a deist now, where he's like, all the churches and religions have it wrong. I have a personal relationship with God. God's not in these houses, like if he ever goes to a church, kind of thing. So he was much more open-minded as far as that goes. My mother was, oh, it's evil, it's devil worship. I'm like, Ma, I don't even believe in the devil. It's evil, it's devil worship. So between between my choice of religion and the fact that she had forced me to go through confirmation, we had a very strained relationship for a number of years. And in fact, I remember in high school, I, while still Wiccan, was doing something with a church. It was a Baptist church that I actually really liked the idea. They had a hangout every Friday night where they had chaperones, they had music, they had cheap food, video games, pool tables. They basically opened up the rec room to allow for teenagers to have a place to go where they could be safe and not getting into trouble. And I thought it was actually a really cool idea. And so I volunteered with that. And in doing that, there's that whole bit of like peer pressure to, kind of be part of the in-group, so to speak. And they kept trying to get me to essentially join their church. And I gotta say, I really, truly tried. I honestly tried to believe what they did, but it just didn't click with me. There was just something with me that I couldn't buy. I was like, if I'm going to believe in any gods, I'm going to believe in multiples, because just one, like, it just seems like the Bible disproves its own God with the amount of contradictions. I mean, that was kind of, where I sat as far as high school goes. And then getting out of high school, I still maintained Wicca, my Wiccan practices, doing the different holidays like Mabon.
I still wear this to honor my time in Wicca, right there.
Yeah, this is the stand-in for my normal pentagram that I always wear because the chain's broken and I don't want to lose it because I've literally had it for like 15 years. So this is just a cheapo little one that I have, so I still have it. I actually have one tattooed on my ribs. It's a Celtic phrase, Moanam Cara, but it was stylized so that the O and the A make a pentagram. The A is the pentagram part, and then the O is an Ouroboros around it, like encircling the pentagram.
Cool. Very cool.
But yeah, I'll send you a picture later. I love it. But so I was very happy and content, doing like sage smudges whenever somebody felt there was negative energy in the house and all of that. But as time went on, I found myself like just naturally not believing in as much of the woo. Like, I felt like it was easy to go from Catholicism to Wicca because there was still that semblance of ritual.
Yes, I was just going to say a lot of ritual involved because a lot of Catholicism comes from pagan history anyways.
Absolutely. And so like I would still do rituals. Someone's like, oh, I feel like my house is haunted, then okay, bring out the sage smudge sticks, let's call some corners in here. Dude, I love the smell of white sage.
Yeah, me too.
It is so good. Like even before I became Wiccan, my dad and I used to burn white sage out in the cookhouse because he lived in an estrogen ocean. We were in a house with 4 females, 1 male, 1 bathroom. So he built an outdoor cookhouse and he and I would go escape out there, smoke cigarettes, watch TV because he had a cable line run out to it, and we'd be cooking and stuff. It was great.
I'm going to get Ocean to change his name to Estrogen Ocean. That's right, Ocean. I'm coming for you.
Uh-oh. I'm sorry for giving him the idea. Many apologies for the inconvenience.
That's okay. He'll probably just laugh at me anyways. He always does.
Well, but Ocean's nice. Like,
Ocean's good people.
Definitely. So yeah, I continued with the ritual and celebrating the holidays. In fact, to this day, I still call it Yule instead of Christmas because
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it was Yule first, but
There's another one too, like Saturnalia is another one that's around the same time.
yeah, but my family would probably be less, appreciative of me wanting to throw orgies.
Fair.
I mean, just to say, like, the Yule traditions and the Christmas traditions are pretty interchangeable. Saturnalia is just a
Where do you
little
think they
bit
got it from?
extra, a little bit extra.
I mean, even Christians and Catholics and on all the likes still call them Yule logs, which is where that comes from, right? So
Yuletide greetings. I mean, in
and
fact,
the boughs of holly or boughs of whatever used to. Actually, back in the day, they used to use them to keep the scent of the house because nobody fucking showered back then. So it was used for that. Matthew Randall, orgies rule.
they do. But actually, that wasn't the only pagan holiday that the church took over.
Oh no. Lots of them.
Samhain is another one that is a perfect example for anyone who doesn't know. It is essentially
So we now know
what
it's
became Halloween.
Yeah.
But it was when it was thought that the veil between this world and like the afterlife was thinnest.
Yeah.
So you would leave offerings to your ancestors and
in the form of sweets of some kind.
Yeah, similar to like Dia de los Muertos in Mexico.
Yes, exactly.
That's the closest parallel I can think of. So if you've seen Coco, similar to that.
Coco's such a good fucking movie too.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
Like sometimes my son will just be running around the house, no guitar, no music.
What?
Because he repeats things. He repeats things that he hears.
I see. Okay.
But yeah, no. So like he was on a Coco kick for a while where he was watching it like 10 times a day, every day.
I would have been right there with him.
Oh, it's such a good film. It's gorgeous. Like, so anyways, back to
we digress.
Back to that. Yeah, I digress. So, Samhain, when the church decided, they were going through and they were taking what they could to try to ease the transition of people for converts, they said, okay, well, we can't have people remembering their ancestors. That's too much like witchcraft. So instead, we will have them remember the saints, and we'll make November 1st All Saints Day, or Hallowmas, and the night before became known as All Hallows Eve, which eventually got bastardized into Halloween and is now the commercial trick-or-treat holiday that we know today.
Still love it.
Oh, it's my favorite.
Yep.
Now, Halloween's my favorite holiday.
Halloween's number one for me, and then number two, of course, is the Christmas, Hanukkah time of the year. Because I was raised as a Jew, so we got like 8 days of Christmas, basically. So
yeah. I mean,
that's
I wonder.
The time of year, the food, the get-togethers, it was all seeing family and friends.
Family.
Yeah, exactly, and it's important to have that.
And then if you think that bunnies and eggs have anything to do with Jesus on the cross, you're sorely mistaken. Those are because it was the spring fertility festival. So
we know where those come. I know where that tradition started too. Well, we all know, I think, by now where the eggs. And there's actually a story. It's Germanic. And there's a story of a rabbit that used to come around and actually laid eggs, according to the fable. So that's where you get that from.
But, tying it to that time when basically, I think that, last I remember reading, like biblical scholars believe that like if Jesus was born, he would have been born more in the spring.
Summer.
Spring, summer. Definitely not on the 25th. And as far
I heard
as
it was
like
hatched out of that egg, though, one of the bunny eggs.
And then as far as the crucifixion, that was basically to take over another pagan holiday of Ostara, which was the Spring Fertility Festival.
Right. Maypole.
Yes. Mabon. But little history lesson aside, I said, again, I continued on, and then I realized that I didn't really believe in the gods anymore. I didn't really believe in the magic. I think actually Ghosts was the last thing that I kind of let go of my belief on, because that one I still had that whole rationalization that, you never know, like we're energy, our consciousness is energy can't be created or destroyed. Maybe it, carries on in some way, so like that was how I rationalized it.
Sure. I did too.
And that was the last thing for me to let go. But I was an atheist before I had even heard the word. actually. I joined an e-cigarette forum when I went to quit smoking, and I was hanging out in the politics section of that forum. It was a subsection where anything that wasn't e-cig related had to be relegated to. And I met someone there, and we were having a lovely chat about politics. And I found like we linked up because we were both progressive liberal types.
Sure.
And somehow on the topic of conversation, it came up where he said, "I'm an atheist." And I had literally never heard the word. I kind of rationalized what I thought it meant, but I hadn't heard it. So I literally went and I looked it up, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm an atheist. That's why I say it's pretty boring for me as far as, my deconversion, because it was kind of a gradual thing.
This is the real reason. Jesus laid an egg during the crucifixion, and bunnies warmed his feet.
I mean, bunnies are really warm.
They are.
And they're so soft and fluffy. I love bunnies.
One of the guys I work with has 2 of them, and they're adorable.
My niece has one. It lives at my parents' house. Technically, I have 2 pets still living at my parents' house, though, but that's mostly because I don't want my son to hurt them or get hurt by them.
Sure.
Like cats and dogs, cats can get away from him. The dog, is essentially his emotional support animal. So, that's not an issue. But I have a parrot and a snake. And both of those are not, not really the best to have around a kid that wants to get into things and doesn't understand the fragility of things.
Right.
But yeah, so I actually still had a ghost belief even after I realized I was an atheist. Like I said, that was the one that I lost at the very end. And it was mostly because I had experiences, when I was younger,
Sure.
both me and people I knew, anecdotal, that I couldn't quite explain. So I was like, well, maybe it's something that we don't understand, Like I discounted magic working. I discounted there being a loving, creator God. I was like, if there's a God, I mean, basically the Big Bang was him shooting his load into the tissue, and then he just tossed it and then let it be what it is. Exactly. Like if a God had anything to do with the creation of the universe, it was not one that was meticulous. Like, I love you and I'm a part of all of your life. No, it was just a Kleenex he used and tossed in the bin.
Insert crude joke here. I can't tell you how many universes I've created.
I love it. Love it. But yeah, so like I said, I don't really have too much of that. I honestly, though, it's weird. I found that you can't. Yeah, the big bukkake. Yes, it's not the Big Bang, it's the big bukkake.
Oh, good Lord. Dave, I love you, man.
I'm stealing that.
Yeah, totally, eh? Right. He comes up with lots of funny stuff. And he's my neighbor. He's one of the ones I go blood donating with, or donating blood with. Blood donating? What the fuck am I talking about? Donating blood with, yeah. Him and Randolph. And we're going to get more people coming out, too.
I definitely try to donate blood as often as I can. Although, for me, it's a little rough because my iron is always low, and I can't take iron supplements. So it's high enough that I can donate, but they have to spin it every time. It will fail the drop test, guaranteed.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. But if they spin it, it's enough.
How do you feel about broccoli or asparagus?
I like broccoli and asparagus, and I find
before you go.
I also try to. It's one of the reasons I feel like I can't become a vegetarian. One, I love meat, and you'll pry my bacon from my cold dead hands. And
I have a shirt that says if I had to worship anything, it would be bacon.
Yes, thank you. But honestly, I find if I don't eat meat at least 2 times a week, I actually feel a little bit ill. And I've tried taking iron supplements, and they just make me sick. It doesn't matter if they're coated. It doesn't matter how much there is. I get ill. So as long as I eat meat,
Yeah, lots of proteins and broccoli, asparagus are quite high in iron. So
no, my guys actually just made me a Valentine's meal on the 15th, and it was lamb and steamed asparagus with homemade Mornay sauce with Gruyere cheese.
Did you wrap it in bacon?
No, it wasn't wrapped in bacon, but it was delicious. And then there were garlic herb roasted potatoes, like the little ones that are white and red.
Damn it, now
It
I'm
was
hungry.
amazing. I showed a picture of it on Twitter.
I think I saw that. And I had to go
It
into
was
the
so
bathroom and
good.
cry because I wasn't eating anything even relatively close to that at the time. So
Yeah, well, the lamb was on sale, so we got two, and one's sitting in the freezer. So probably around Easter we'll do it again because I love lamb. We just don't have it
Me
all
too.
that often.
Me too. The last donation that Dave and Randolph and I did, we went to a little Italian-y, Greeky restaurant down the road, and I had lamb. Oh yeah, and saganaki, and which is the fried cheese that's on fire usually, and then oh yeah, so good. We had a great time there. It was a lot of fun. And bacon, lamb and bacon. Yes, Quiet Gorilla. Lamb and bacon is also good.
Honestly,
I've
bacon makes everything better.
Well, I don't know. I don't think you can make poop better. Even
Everything edible. Just
everything
about
edible. Well,
because you can make candied bacon for something sweet.
Oh yeah.
So like maple cupcakes with little like candied bacon on top. So
good. Have you tried? Well, mind you, the ones I've had two versions. I've had just regular bacon brownies, and I've also had the hemp infused, like the THC, the edibles of bacon brownies, which is fucking awesome.
I have not had bacon brownies. Like that's going to be on my list.
You must
up there
try.
with the spicy chili brownies, where you use like the chili infused chocolate, maybe a little hint of extra for like that little kick in the back end. I want to make those.
I've had actual chocolates that have the chilies in them, and that's really.
I have some in the pantry. I just haven't gotten around to doing it.
Fucking R and Raw one time made me drink a stout that was habanero stout. So it was like in that nice chocolatey flavor, and then the habanero kicks into it. Right? It's like whoa.
That sounds good. Unfortunately, I can't drink beer. Like I have an issue with hops. Like I can't even drink Malta. So like Malta is a soda that it also has hops in it, but it's non-alcoholic. And
Never heard of it.
Yeah, no, they sell it in grocery stores around here. Like usually in the like foreign foods, like it'll be like near the rice, the beans, the I hate how they call it here ethnic foods. It's such a stupid thing to do, but that's usually where you would find it. I just wish they'd find better terminology, honestly. But hey.
Foods of the world. I told them they should do that.
Yeah, or international food. That works too.
Yep.
Yep.
Non-local cuisine.
That's another one. And there's no problem with that. I mean,
I like the international one, international cuisine. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's short, it's sweet. But, if I ever win the lottery, I was telling Randolph that I'm going to try to become your new neighbor. I'll just relocate my whole family up to Canada because, like, my country's going to shit. So, it would be nice. And I was
Lots of room for you here.
I literally was Googling the warmest like places in Canada for the winter because I'm actually disabled. I'm actually disabled and I have a problem with my nerves and my central nervous system. So the cold, while I used to be Elsa when I was in high school, like I actually once, I told Randolph this story. I was visiting my family back in Massachusetts, where I'm originally from. And they, I hopped in the shower and there was snow on the ground and I come out, I'm wearing a spaghetti strap shirt and some silk pajama pants and that's it. I didn't put on a jacket or anything. I go outside to smoke a cigarette. And when I come in, I sit down on the couch and I go to lean back and then I hear, and I'm like, oh shit, my hair wasn't fully dry and it actually frozen partially. So I had to lean forward so that it didn't break off. And then once it melted down in the warmth of the house, then I was fine. And I was able to lean back. I was like, okay, won't make that mistake again. Make sure my hair is fully dry before I go outside when there's snow on the ground. I was literally Elsa. And now if it drops, like freaking, I don't remember what the measurement would be. When it gets down below the 60s in Fahrenheit, I don't know. That's somewhere in like, I don't know, the teens, 20 or low 20s,
teens in Celsius.
Yeah, you people that decided to tie your measurement system to water. But no, honestly, I think that like the metric system would be better universal. Like,
I just follow along.
Yeah, no. I'm totally fine with learning metric. I already use it in baking. Like
Yeah.
more precise measurements, you get better results.
Yeah, exactly. It is more precise. And it's base 10 math too as well.
Yeah. But so I was looking and I was like, I can tolerate, like single digits Celsius. Like if it dips down, to 0 for a little bit, fine for Celsius. But I can't really handle much colder than that. So I know there's some areas where it gets like -40 Celsius, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, fuck no.
It'd be like
Not happening.
Edmonton or Saskatchewan, Here in
Yeah.
BC on the coast, usually the country gets hit with these little polar vortexes. Mind you, we felt a little bit of it this year, and we actually got another dumping, but of course the snow lasted for about a minute and then disappeared pretty much. But the rest of the country can get hit pretty bad. But here on the coast, we're pretty lucky. We miss most of that shit. We barely get snow. We might get snow for, in grand total, it might dump a couple of times, but we might get snow for a grand total of about 3 to 4 days. Max.
Yeah, see, that would be perfect because then my son would get the chance to experience snow, but I'm not, being my, former masshole self having to scrape it off the car every morning for 5 months,
Right.
That's a little exaggeration, but you know what I mean.
Here.
So yeah, like if I win the lottery, I'm going to try to be your neighbor.
Well, we can help you out if that day comes and you're looking for a place to go. We can definitely help you out and get you set up here for sure. Lots of
that would be great. Honestly, like the sad thing is the American dream, and I don't mean to like hijack this for politics, but it's just like the American dream is kind of dead. Like our capitalistic system here, because it's not regulated enough, has essentially killed it. Now, upward mobility in Canada is way better than the United States. So if you want a chance at actually, having a good life where, your country actually takes care of you, because, I'm crazy. I think that a government...
It's not too crazy. It's not
well,
that
I have this thing that a government has a responsibility to, take care of its citizens, and like healthcare is like a universal right. Like it's human right. And you guys are at least doing that. Like, sure, it's flawed, but it's better than here where they do a wallet biopsy before they'll even treat you. And you can even have insurance and they can find loopholes to screw you. Like what happened with me when my son was born. Yeah,
Wait,
no, I had insurance.
When your son was born?
I had insurance, and because of my condition, it was a high-risk pregnancy. It was a scheduled C-section, so we knew exactly when I was going to have him. Okay. Went to the hospital, had my C-section, but my son wasn't oxygenating properly, and they didn't actually have the NICU facility to be able to keep him alive at that hospital. So they had to transport him, while I'm sitting there recovering from being gutted, in an ambulance to the Children's Hospital down in Orlando, Florida. It was about an hour and a half away. The insurance company said that even though maternity care was covered on my insurance and, whatnot, because he was transported by ambulance to another hospital, it's a separate stay. So they saddled me with the $150,000 bill for his stay in the NICU.
Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me?
Nope.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? You need to be here. We don't do shit like that.
I have a friend in Canada who's like, yeah, I got a $50 bill for an ambulance ride, and I was pissed. And I'm like, $50, please. I'll take that. You want to trade?
Yeah, it's funny because they never really used to charge for ambulance rides, but because the paramedics and the ambulances here became sort of a separate entity from the hospitals. This happened sometime in the 90s. I'm pretty sure it was late 90s when that happened. So if you do get an ambulance ride now, they, of course, my friend Quiet Gorilla will correct me if I'm wrong, because he's sort of in the industry to some degree. So, but yeah, it depends. If it's not an emergency, they charge you. There you go. So there we go. If it's not an emergency, they'll charge you the $50. If it's an emergency, it's free of charge.
Oh, well, that's good. Like I know people that they will refuse an ambulance ride even after a car accident because, they can't afford it. It can cost, $1,000 plus just to rent an ambulance.
Drag you behind, like put a little skateboard underneath you and drag you behind the ambulance?
No. Nah,
What a bunch of dicks. Man, you guys are screwed down there. How do you survive down there?
Copious amounts of alcohol.
I hear you.
Probably. You know, like I'm not really much of a drinker, but
I can drink.
I mean, I'll have a drink every now and again. Like I'm not like anti-alcohol, but
no,
I'm not supposed to really drink with my medications. So it's one of those I'll have a drink every now and again. You know, it's extreme
like
moderation for me. Yeah, like I'll get a bottle of wine. Although election night I put away a bottle of wine because I was stress drinking.
I understand. In fact, I think we in Canada were stress drinking right along with you. It's like I don't know if we can put up with 4 more years of this guy. Funny
story about that, actually. I could not find my bottle opener to open the bottle of wine, and I am stressing out. So what I did is I grabbed a deck screw, my hand drill, and I screwed into the top, and then pliers, and I'm holding the bottle while someone is pulling on the cork to pull it out, and then I tied a little string to it and made a Christmas tree ornament out of it because I'm like, I will never forget that night.
I like a gal who uses tools. Especially tools.
When I was younger, I used to help my dad. He was a general contractor, so I spent summers helping him refurnish and build houses. Though my dad was kind of an asshole sometimes, where he'd have me holding up a sheet of drywall on top of a ladder.
5/8 drywall or just 1/2 inch?
It was I think it was 1/2 inch, but it was heavy. I mean, I'm only 5'6", and you know, I weighed about. It was a big one. I mean, I did have a little help because it was edged up. You know, there was a little lip on the edge to hold some of the weight. But I'm standing there up there like a Greek freaking statue, and you know, I'm like, Dad, are you gonna tack this in or what? And he's like, Nah, I'm gonna go get lunch. I'm like, Fuck you, Dad.
Yeah, just hang there for a minute.
Yeah, just stay there. You'll be fine. Like, oh, it's so heavy.
I can't feel my arms, Dad. What's wrong? Fuck you. I better get a Big Mac out of this. What the hell's going on?
Right? No, honestly, like I do have my dad to thank for at the time at least being very supportive of my religious journey. He was like, "Hey, I dated a white witch. Like if you want to do, you know, Wicca or whatever." He was super supportive. Like he and my mom actually fought about it. I mean, you know, it was one of those things
fought over, isn't it?
Yeah, a little. I mean, but I wish it was something different, like where she would actually listen to what I was saying rather than just infusing her opinions upon me, you know? But she did actually come around eventually. She gave me a Trinity knot, like a triquetra ring for my 18th or 19th birthday. And that was kind of her peace offering of, all right, I finally accept that you don't actually believe in the devil. You're not into like satanic stuff. And our relationship actually got a lot better after that. Like once she finally accepted, you know, that, although we still have some snags now with the whole atheism thing, because when it comes to religion and politics, she's kind of fingers in the ears, don't want to hear it.
Right. Unwilling to learn.
Yeah. And then my aunt is a evangelical. Like she left the Catholic Church, became like the whole born again thing. And now my mom's going to the same church. Although my mom is a lot more like laid back about it. I remember one Christmas Eve, we were at my aunt's house, and I was told, you know, I'm never allowed to talk about like religion or politics, like at any family gathering. So I'm sitting there and she comes in and she was, you know, talking to me and everything like that. And she's like, hey, you know, I was just wondering, would you be willing to come to my church with me? And I'm like, sure, just let me know when. Like, I'm not opposed to going to a church and seeing what people believe, because I like seeing where people are coming from. I think it helps you understand them better.
It gives you better fuel to change your mind possibly too, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think her mind's going to get changed because she's all aboard the Trump train. But
oh boy.
Continuing on. Yeah, continuing on. So she could have left it at that, but she didn't. She said, because Jesus has so blessed my life and I want those blessings for you. And I had that moment where it's like everything pauses.
Yeah.
Everything pauses and you're like, am I gonna do this? Am I? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. So I kind of why is it that, you know, you deserve to be bless. Like, I mean, when you have children starving and dying in Africa, you know,
Elsewhere. Lots of them,
like
9
other places
million
in
every
the
year.
world,
Yeah.
you know, kids dying of malaria or HIV. And then she
Or
basically
being
goes,
raped by priests. Like, what?
yeah, that too. You know, shout out to Sinead O'Connor because she brought
Oh, yeah.
attention to it before anybody else. And
Oh, no, we knew
like,
already. But
well,
yes, shout out
before
to
the
her.
general public knew.
Right.
But you know, shout out to
He
her.
was
She's a
abused,
hero.
so.
But anyway, so she then goes on with, well, suffering brings you closer to God. And
I
you
never
know,
got that. Never got that.
and I was like, okay, so what about a condition like Tay-Sachs? It's a genetic disorder, and the child is going to know nothing but pain and suffering for about 6 to 7 years before they die. Their brains aren't going to be developed enough to know that that suffering is bringing them closer to their loving God, you know? So what then? And she's like, well, in
Great
that
point.
case, it would be to bring the parents closer to God. And I was like, oh, so your all loving, benevolent deity would torture and murder a small child so the parents may or may not learn a lesson? And she just
Yeah.
stood there like dumbfounded for a moment. Like she literally couldn't say anything in response to that.
Nothing she
And
can say to answer that.
you
because
really can't.
No.
You can't. And like I heard my mom, you know, like I heard from my dad later that my mom was in there, like she was about to like start bitching that like I had brought up religion, and my dad's like, no. She brought it, you know, Kitty didn't do it. You know, your sister started this. She walked into that trap. Like, just leave it be. But honestly, I find that, you know, the more like devout and evangelical, you know, the religion, like it seems like the more atrocities people are expected to just let slide. I had a family member, that someone that I cared about greatly and that I loved. And when I was actually previously married, and it was not a healthy relationship. It was very, very abusive. And I went to this person to open up to them and, you know, get some advice. It was the first time that I was really vocalizing that I was being abused. And their response was, well, it summed it up as, if you were a better wife and had a hot meal and a cold beer, maybe they wouldn't want to abuse you.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Nope. I mean, they were a little bit drunk at the time, but that makes me think that's more their true feelings, you know? Like, rather than just, I don't know. Like, it fucking stung. It hurt. Because this is a family member. This is a blood relative basically saying, well, if you were a better wife, then you wouldn't get abused. That's not how that works.
Yeah, no, not even fucking close. That's unbelievable.
And, you know, I find that, like,
if he was a better husband, he wouldn't have beat you.
Yeah, exactly. But I also think, like, you know, it was causing a problem on that side too, because he was raised very devout Catholic. His mother was Franciscan friar, and this isn't just because he's my ex, but I honestly believe that he was a closeted, self-loathing homosexual, or at least bisexual. And the reason being is, you know, I was trying to do my duties as a wife, you know, and make myself available to my husband for, you know, carnal pleasures, so to speak. And he would pass up on having sex with me to go masturbate to gay porn. And I don't mean lesbian. I mean like full of dudes, not a vagina in sight. And like, it actually, like, later on, like, it got me wondering, like, could religion have played a part in turning him into a monster? You know, he hated himself. He was expected to have a wife, bear children with that wife because of the Catholic upbringing. And it doesn't excuse what he did, but it got me wondering, you know, has religion harmed my life in that way too? Like, was it a contributing factor to that situation? And I mean, after the conversation I had with that family member, I didn't tell anybody for a long time, and I just toughed it out. And eventually, you know, I got into that rut where I'm just like, maybe I do deserve this, you know?
What you clearly don't think like that anymore, though, do you?
No, absolutely not. Good. No, I escaped with the help of actually my son's father. He legitimately saved my life, and he is the best man I know.
When I have the chance.
Hopefully you do. But no, like, actually I'll be discussing more of this, you know, in a later, like, to be announced show with Jen from Jen's Little Corner. We're actually going to be having a conversation on domestic violence and, you know, survivors. So we'll be getting more in depth with that, and I'll let you know when that happens.
Jen's one of my favorite people. So.
Oh, she's so lovely. Yeah, I love her.
Yeah, and her accent's sexy. So.
Oh yeah, she's totally cute. Like, Will better watch out.
Yeah, exactly right. So, sorry, I'm a little. I had band today, so every time I sing, all the phlegm starts coming out afterwards. So, because I'm a smoker.
I miss singing. Like, I used to sing a lot when I was a kid, and I actually was really talented. But then, a combination of when I got chicken pox, I actually got them twice. The first time it was relatively mild. The second time almost killed me because they went down my throat. My airway was closing off. I had to get steroid injection, and then I had to take steroids to cut down the swelling. Another hit to the U.S. healthcare system. My mom calls the doctor saying, my daughter's having trouble breathing. She's got chicken pox down her throat and it's all swollen. And they're like, well, if her lips start turning blue and she's no longer oxygenating, then you can go ahead and bring her in. What? She'll be dead before we get there. Like, you can't live that long without air. Yeah.
You're in Florida.
That's the thing that happened. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
We moved to Florida when I was a kid.
Right. Thank you, Sam.
But so a combination of that and getting mono from a girl in high school,
mono's harsh.
It fucked up my throat, and I could probably get some of my singing voice back, you know, but I would have to really work at it every day. Ain't nobody got time for that.
I have time to practice. I do it. Well, mind you, I generally do it in the car on the way to band. Like, I'm start going, start singing and shit, you know, when I'm like driving around. I get funny looks at people at stoplights and shit too. It's kind of funny. But
fuck it. You only live once. You're not hurting anybody.
I don't care. I'll look at them and go, wow. You just do something silly like that.
And then they just speed away quickly. Like, who the fuck was that crazy man?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I get that quite a bit, actually.
Hey, I mean, all my interactions with you have been lovely. And besides, I don't like normal people. Like, normal people scare me. And I'll tell you why. It's because it's always the ones that, he seems so normal, but he's got 4 women chained in his basement as sex slaves for 20 years. No. I want to see your weirdness on display to know if your weird plays well with my weird, you know?
You're welcome, Martin. Yeah. I stopped locking people up in the basement myself, so no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean, eventually Stockholm kicks in, and then they just stay of their own volition.
That's right.
A la Beauty and the Beast.
That's right. Disney, shame on you. No.
Oh, goodness. Like, but no, I remember God's like so many different conversations since leaving religion that I've had with religious people. And I'm not going to lie, some of them had made me like look at them differently and like think less of them. There was a woman, there was a woman that I worked with many years ago, and you know, we were having a conversation about heaven and hell. And I was like, well, it was really heaven that kind of sealed the deal for me that like Christianity wasn't right. Because for me, it was like, it couldn't be paradise, because if I die and I'm in heaven and my child, my mother, my sister, what have you, are burning in hell, I'm not going to be in paradise knowing that they're suffering.
Yep.
And so the only way around that would be either I don't remember them, and, you know, then what was the point of living if I don't remember my life? Or there'll be a fake version of them there. And I've always said I would rather an ugly truth than a beautiful lie.
Right. And, yes, I love that expression, by the way.
And honestly, like, that has been something that I've lived by for a very long time. because I find that the beautiful lies end up being the most deadly. Like, you can get over an ugly truth, but a beautiful lie will fucking kill you.
It's a really good Soundgarden tune too, by the way, called "Ugly Truth."
Oh, I'll have to check it out. I don't think I'm familiar with that one.
It's off their "Louder Than Love" album, which, in my opinion, is their best album.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, I was jamming out to like Coheed and Cambria.
They're great
when
too.
I was in high school. They're one of the only bands I've seen live multiple times. But the first band I ever saw live, that goes to Meatloaf, and that's because of my mom. She brought me to a Meatloaf concert on a Bat Out of Hell tour. They had like this 70-foot inflatable bat, pyrotechnics and everything. It was great. It was an awesome show.
Have you seen the movie Roadie?
No.
Watch it. It's great. He's in it.
Okay, like the only movie I knew of him in was Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, which is great.
Even if it is a little problematic.
It's a great movie, and we used to love to go. We'd dress up at the parts and throw the toast and all that shit.
Oh yeah,
but the coolest way I saw it was live in theater. Ooh. That was really cool.
Yeah, I actually, I have a friend that every year she participates in essentially that where. They'll have the movie playing on the screen behind them, but they're also acting it out on stage.
Right.
And it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And she usually plays Magenta. And she's a fabulous Magenta, if I do say so myself. And the guy that they had to play Frankenfurter was phenomenal. But there was also one of the guys that was there, he wasn't part of the actual show, but he was part of the experience where it was getting people hyped beforehand. He was dressed up and he looked just like that one guy from Dune, like the one with all like the swords and everything that's like the ruler or whatever.
Oh, yeah, his name's not coming to me at the moment, but I know exactly who you mean.
It's slipping, but he looked just like him. I'll see if I have one of the pictures and I'll DM it to you. So you can see, like, as soon as I saw him, I'm like, holy shit, like, is this like a Dune crossover?
Awesome.
Sorry, I'm a little bit of a nerd.
Yeah, that's okay. Me too. I don't know if you can see it, but actually, right. Oh, hang on. Right there is my Mandalorian helmet.
No. Oh, hold on. Where did I put my...
You have to... Here. I'll do that. There. Now you can see it.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. Here's my my AirPods case. My little baby Yoda.
I got a little baby.
My little Grogu. But also there's the lanyard my sister got me. It's got like many different little Grogus doing different things. It's absolutely adorable.
And I even have the Powdered Toast Man t-shirt on here from the
that's so cool. Oh, and then chilling on my sewing machine. This is chilling on my sewing machine with a little piece of duct tape. Because duct tape fixes just about everything.
Yep. You don't have to tell me. I'm well aware. I watched every Red Green episode there is to watch.
Oh, man. When I was a kid, I used to watch MacGyver, like, a lot. I wanted to be a female MacGyver. Like, just make a bomb out of, like, some toothpaste, a toilet paper roll, and a paper clip. Hell yeah.
Stick of gum. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He made all sorts of cool shit out of nothing. It was awesome.
Yeah. I much preferred MacGyver.
Gum and paper clips and bits of string. Because you never know.
And then my little can koozie also has...
Oh, nice.
Little Grogu.
I'm going to be making some, actually, with the hashtag coins for my little beer cozy things. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because we do that every time. My phone does the Mario coin sound, so every time you hear it go off, we do hashtag coins like this, and people are supposed to sip, right? So it's a drinking game. But my producer isn't with me today. He got home late.
You know, hashtag coins is something that I could put on a mask.
Really?
Yeah, I could literally cut that out, and I could put hashtag coins on a mask. And if I was going to send masks up to Canada, I would want to get some for you and Randolph and anybody else like in the area that you meet up with.
Yeah.
I would need a list. I would need a list of the people and whether they're male or female. Right. That's really all I need because I've got different sizes.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sure, I get you.
And I could do together an order and ship them up because I don't have any masks in Canada. Like, that's one place I don't have them.
I said, Dave, fuck, settle down, pal. My boys, right? So, relax, buddy. We'll talk.
I also have a Star Wars fabric, so I can make you a Star Wars and a #coins mask.
I want a Mandalorian mask, actually.
If I could find some Mandalorian fabric, I could do that. I'd have to look around. Or if I can't, the cool thing about the masks is any iron-on embroidered patches you can put. So you can just make a regular mask, and then you can put an iron-on patch on it.
Cool.
Cool. So if I can't find Mandalorian fabric, I'm sure they have Mandalorian patches. And yeah, just any iron-on one.
We'll talk. We'll talk. There's all kinds of, because I'm starting a merch store that Mikey's currently working on. He's my producer, by the way. So we have all kinds of ideas. I don't know if we'll be including Mandalorian stuff in my merch store, but there's going to be all kinds of little neat ideas, and maybe we can get you to whip up some of the masks and stuff like that for different ideas, like my logo or the #coins or something like that. Be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'll see what I
can do. We're doing ones
with
my mustache pattern on the masks, actually, which I think is kind of neat.
You know
what? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doug, for the 2 pound super sticker. You realize that here in Canada, 2 pounds is probably worth like $490,000. So thank you.
Yeah, right.
I'm rich. No, I'm kidding.
If only.
Yeah, I know. Well, 2 pounds probably is close to about $3.50 here. So that's pretty cool. Thank you, Doug. Always appreciate it. I always forget to mention at the start of these shows that it's much easier for what Dog did just here, you guys. I can see these really easily rather than, because people try to tag me with questions sometimes, but in StreamYard, I don't see the tags as well as I do if I was on YouTube, because they highlight them in red, obviously, right? So the best way to get a question through is like $1 super chat or 50-cent super chat. And it's not that I'm looking for the cash, but it's just easy to see them, just like Dog's little $2 super sticker, which I appreciate. Thank you. So I would say if anyone does have questions, they can always hit up with a really super cheap super chat, and I'll make sure that they get asked. But Kitty, holy cow! You know what? You saved my ass today. You came through. You came to the rescue of this lonely Canadian boy, or lowly is what I meant to say. And I'm not lonely. I have friends. Because I was like, oh shit! Now I got a vacancy going on here. So yeah, thank you so much.
I don't know if anyone has any questions. Like I said, my story is relatively uneventful. I really truly did try. I really truly did try to become a Christian at that Baptist church. I learned after that experience that you cannot force yourself to believe something. You just can't. Like, I tried. I wanted to believe, but like I want to believe, but Mulder, Mulder had a better shot at that than I did, because I'm pretty sure he already believed. So
yeah, I think so. Well, here we go. He finally made it home. He was stuck at work till 7 his time, which is 5 my time, which is the time we go live. But my producer, Mr. Mikey Famine, is here with us. Hey, Mikey. Now. So I'm going to swap positions here. Ooh, that sounds bad.
Nope.
You gonna get Mikey in trouble?
Nope. I had nothing to do with this.
How you been, Mikey?
What's up?
Long time no talk.
Word. The world is a crazy place we live on.
Yes.
Keeps getting crazier.
Yes, yeah, but it's getting a little less crazy because you guys don't have that psychopath running your country down there anymore.
Yeah, but then, you have to factor in the fact that Oxford was going to make their vaccine open source, but the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation dangled millions of dollars worth of grants over their heads to get them to sell it to AstraZeneca, where they have a stake. So, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what?
It's not getting that much better.
Any vaccine that can help get us through this garbage, I'll take it. I don't really care where it's from.
Also, the vaccine was being, like, a Western vaccine was being tested on Black and brown people in Africa, like South Africa, and then they're charging them double for the vaccine. And they were trying to, yeah. Like there's a lot of shit going on with that, and some countries, especially poorer countries, it's going to be years before they get vaccinated, and at that point the virus will possibly have mutated, to the point where the vaccine's not going to be as effective. And you've got all these anti-mask Karens and Kens that fucking are getting other people infected, and it's allowing it to mutate. And I used to think
mutated
that
in a few places, like a few countries have had mutate.
Sorry. No, I used to think that if we had a global catastrophe, that would bring us together as a species. The whole aliens come and everything like that.
Yeah.
After
like
seeing
Independence
this,
Day kind of thing.
nah, that wouldn't happen. Like
No.
you would have politicians denying that it was real. You would literally see what's going on with COVID, only it would be denying the aliens rather than denying the pandemic.
Or them
blaming it
aliens
on the
is just
Chinese
illegal aliens.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a Chinese hoax. Like, I know people in my life that believe that the virus was cooked up in a Chinese lab just to attack America. I'm like, what?
It should be good.
Yeah, and their citizens and everyone else in the world too, apparently. So it's ridiculous. There's a lot of people out there with conspiracy minds, and it's silly as fuck. And I actually have friends that kind of have a little bit of that in them, but I tend to bitch slap them once in a while. Like, come on, what are you doing, man? But shit happens.
Just that big dick energy. Just come on, back to reality with you.
I'm sorry. Did you just say big dick energy?
I did.
So back to my plan to terraform Mars, because the Earthlings clearly can't get their shit together.
Honestly, though, eventually it would lead to a war, because here's the thing. When we colonize Mars, we're going to send our best and brightest there. And they're going to need to cooperate. They're literally going to need to cooperate to survive. They're going to have a more socialistic, egalitarian type system. They're going to end up prospering. We're going to end up fucked. And then they're going to, basically go, fuck you, King George, we're out, like the US did.
Who is we? That's you. You're staying on Earth. I'm leaving. You have fun with your petri dish. I'm out of here. This virus bag is going airborne. I'm mutating some polyps to float through the atmosphere. I'm getting the fuck out of this rock.
Girls like, geez, thanks for making us collateral damage in your battle between the U.S. and China.
So, have any of you actually seen Songbird? It's the Michael Bay film that came out last year. It released in December. It literally is COVID, but I think it's COVID-24, and it's super deadly. Everybody is completely locked down in quarantine. They have to do temperature scans every day. And if you show a fever, then sanitation comes and takes and dumps you into a quarantine zone, which is essentially a concentration camp. And the only people allowed out of their houses are those that have armbands showing that they're immune.
Wow.
Yeah, just released in December. I watched it, and I mean, it's a Michael Bay film. It's not great, but like, honestly,
it's a Michael Bay film. It's not great.
So much lens flare, just lens flare everywhere. Just all lens
it's
flare.
Watchable, I mean, like, there's only one movie I've ever watched that I was just like, I want that hour plus of my life back. Like, it was a complete waste of time. And I used to watch B horror movies and D horror movies with my dad as a kid. So like, there was nothing I wouldn't watch and find something to enjoy about it, except for Napoleon Dynamite. That movie was awful.
How dare you?
I never got the hype about it. I thought it was okay, but I never got the big hype.
Hilarious.
There's
hilarious movie.
You're just being a contrarian, Mikey.
I like your shoulder pads. They're real big.
Vote for Pedro, and then like the kid's gonna get beat up, and then like the car full of the guys roll up behind him, and
the cholos.
Police get scared.
I actually like the animated one they did. They had like 6 or something episodes of the animated one. I
didn't see that.
I never saw that.
Bed racing. They had the bed racing. It's pretty funny. Anyway, first of all, Kitty, like, I totally owe you one. Like, for bailing me out today and showing up and being all gracious as fuck and stuff, and being here and telling a cool story. And I think we had some really relatable things going on, because I was also Wiccan and did the whole pagan thing, you and myself and other people I know have been down that path, but ultimately we found our way out. So we don't believe in that kind of thing. But thank you very much for having me on. Yeah, and you were going to say something. So
no, it's fine. I was just going to say, and I honestly think that leaving religion made me a better person because I focused more on the here and now than anything else. And like, this might be controversial to some people, but I feel like if a person who is, part of like the Abrahamic religions, especially Christianity, if they do a good deed, it actually carries a little less weight with me than if, say, a Buddhist or an atheist does it, or a Hindu, because there's that whole reward punishment thing where it's like that selfishness of you're doing it for your own gain, not because it's the right thing to do. Like when an atheist or agnostic does something, it almost carries the most weight with me just because they don't believe they're getting anything out of it, like cosmically. It's literally they're doing it because it's the right thing to do.
Right. And that's why you should do something charitable or of that ilk, because it is the right thing to do.
Absolutely. Like we need to move towards a more egalitarian society where everybody is equal and there's a baseline below which you cannot fall, because if we cannot come together as a species, we are absolutely fucked. And we are in our test run with COVID showing that we are failing miserably. Yep,
agreed. And that looks like it was one last little hashtag coins for the day. Until, of course, we get into the after party. Now, Kitty, I forgot to mention to you that we do an after party. I don't know if you can stick around for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I can stick around.
Okay, awesome. Well, actually, it won't be here. I'll give you a brand new link. Well, Mikey will give you a brand new link. And we'll take a bit of a break so you can go and grab, take a pee or whatever you got to do, and grab a glass of water or something if you want to have a drink when we do the hashtag coins. Oh, look at you with the straw and everything. You know what? They banned plastic straws in Canada, actually. Although still a few places that are weeding them out, but everywhere I go now, you get paper straws or thicker paper straws. So.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer the silicone ones that I have, but
reusable.
I have these because I was using them for an art project for my son, because these ones have like really long bendy parts, like the bendy parts here, so you can stretch this thing out and like make loops with it and stuff.
Awesome. I actually have a silly straw. It's like with the little loops and stuff that
like,
remember the one, it was like glasses?
Yes. Yes. Those are
like,
the best.
Look how long this thing goes.
It's it's like a straw erection. Look at that. That's awesome. Oh yes. I love it. Harmonica Man, you're a little on the late side, because we are going to bring this one to a close. So before I do that, though, there's a few things I do want to say. Before we get into my mentions, hang on there, somebody.
Yep.
Kitty, you're amazing. You came through.
Thank you.
And I'm forever in your debt for doing this. So
nah, it's not a thing. Literally, I got to come and hang out and have a fun conversation. That's really all that matters. If we're ever in the same place, then you can buy me a soda or, a glass of wine or something. You can buy me a drink if we're ever in the same location. If you really want to do something.
All right, you got it.
And I'm fine with soda, so I'm a cheap date.
I get drunk pretty easy, so I'm a cheap date too. But anyway, before we go, though, I do want to make mention to all my absolutely fantastic, amazing patrons, because you guys, the show, keeps getting better, it keeps going on. And it helps me to take care of a bunch of things so that I can improve the show. You guys are awesome, so thank you all very much for what you do for me. Also, don't forget that Randolph and myself are starting up our own call-in show, very much like the ones you're familiar with. And it's going to be called True North Talk, and it is any atheist, theist, I don't care. You can call in, we'll talk about something. Anything. And so head over there and subscribe to the channel. If you can't find it, you can also head to www.truenorthtalk.ca, and there will be a link to the YouTube channel there for you as well. And don't forget that myself and multiple others like Mr. Mikey here, who has joined us before. We are hosts of the newly revamped and relaunched Nonprofits, one of the ACA products. So it airs at Sunday about 3 p.m. Central Time in between Talkie and the Atheist Experience, as you're probably familiar with anyways. So head over there and subscribe to that channel so you don't miss an episode. I have not been in the past couple because they like to shuffle us through, and I was kind of hogging a lot of time there. I'm like, Johnny, I want to be on everything. He's like, no, you can't be on everything. So anyway, but I'm going to be in the next one coming up. So not the one this Sunday, but tomorrow, but the following one. So head over to that channel and give us a sub. And on the last Saturday of every month at around 2 p.m. Pacific time, because, we're already drinking by that time. So you never know. We do a little show called Atheist Drinking Out Loud. It's myself and Andy Hall, who's a comedian, atheist comedian, over on Laughing in Disbelief channel. So head over to Laughing in Disbelief channel and give him a sub. He's actually passed me now in subscribers, and I keep promoting him. Like, what the hell? Anyway, so yeah, and Seamus, who's one of the members of the Free Thought Prophets, joins us as well. And we always have a guest with us. And Kitty, I think I'll hit you up one of these days, but you can come on and hang out with us. I know you're not much of a drinker, but we'll slip a little.
Hey, you know what? I'll go. I actually have some Ciroc Red Berry, a little bit of that, some Sprite and cranberry, and I'll be good to go. So I will bring a drink, and I will join you sometime.
I think I'm trying to convince X from the Utah Outcasts to join us for this coming one. But of course, he records on the Saturdays as well, so it's just going to have to matter. So if X can't do it, I'll come knocking on your door, Kitty. All right. So, anyways, guys, thank you all for hanging out with us. We are going to do the after party. There is a link below in the description box, so you can check out the after party if you got nothing better to do. But if you're like me, you probably have nothing better to do. So, anyways, don't forget, guys. Also, my producer here, Mr. Mikey, does a little show called The Bin Podcast. So there is a link below. I think. Did I put a link? I may have.
Yeah.
I think. Did I put a link? Hey, look, I rhyme all the time.
Oh, he rapping.
Rapping right on time. It's tricky. I know, little. What the fuck was their name again?
Run DMC.
Yeah, was it Run DMC? Yes, or was it Beastie Boys? You sure? It's tricky to rap and rhyme. It's right on rhyme and right on time. It's tricky. It's tricky. Oh, you're right. I think it was Beastie Boys, but
I think they had a collab. It might have been both of them together.
Yeah, that's true. Canadian bears can't hold a straw to American bears. What? Tons of mice. You're fired. Oh, now you're a film star. Look at you go. All right, we are going to do an after party. If any of you guys out there in the chat would like to join us for the after party, please send myself or Mr. Mikey Famine here a message, and we will give you a link, and you can join us and hang out with myself and Mikey and the fabulous Kitty the Atheist. Who
Dad, you're going to make me blush.
Oh, it's okay. That's all right. I blush all the time, and I don't even know why. It's probably the niacin, but
trying to pass the drug test.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, guys, thank you all for hanging out with us. I hope you guys had a good time, because we did. And until next time, guys, like I always say at the end of the interviews, like the late great Christopher Hitchens once said, extraordinary. No, wait. It's called faith because it's not knowledge. We'll see you guys next time. Don't drink too much like I do. Bye.